We've lived in the Midwest our whole lives and know that winter in the plains is never the same. It can be bitterly cold with negative temperatures and snow one week, then all melt the next week before a warm front pushes through, bringing spring-like storms and enough wind to blow you off your feet. Most of the time though, it's not too bad, and on days like that you've got to take advantage of it. So I got a warm day. I decided to get up here and get this row of the soffit done before we got some nasty weather coming in a couple days. And then this drain where it comes in is too low. I kind of knew that when I put it in, but since I've been running low on water, I definitely want to get it fixed because we're supposed to have a pretty good rain coming up here finally. So I'm going to raise this up, and then I've got to cut this out a little bit and then raise this up too. So I'll take that off. And then this has the bell in it, and the bell I think is part of the problem because it dips down and collects water here. So I may look at actually taking that piece completely off and replacing it. I'm not sure yet. We'll see how high I can get this up. Okay, I don't know how well you can see this, but this is raised up quite a bit more than it was. I cut off probably about 1.5 inches off that piece and raised it up. And then you can see here where the strap was way down here, this got raised up considerably. So I've got a good nice slope on here now. So we'll find out here where the next rain is, if it keeps water from pouring out the end here. It wasn't a lot. There was definitely more water going down than there was coming in through or coming out of this side, but still we need to catch as much water as we possibly can. None of this is glued, so we may get a small leak right there. I don't know, we'll have to see. But definitely better than it was. So now I'm going to go ahead and get this soffit area set up. My goal is to get at least all the way around to that corner would be great before the day ends. Tomorrow's going to be a real pretty day too. So, and then after that the bottom falls out. So hope they'll be able to get that all taken care of. Sheeting wise, you know, this is that liquid flashing. It is still rubbery to the touch. You can see how the color's changing on the outskirts. That stuff's maybe getting a little bit dry, but this is still very rubbery, and it's just working great. So you can see here where I had a screw hole. I need to cover that up. So there's a hole in my defense. But I have to say this zip sheeting has held up really well. It has been exposed like this for over a year, and we'll hopefully be getting siding on this pretty soon. I know I keep saying that, but the prices of stuff just keeps going up. You know, sheeting, when we started this, the sheeting, not the zip sheeting, just normal OSB, was less than $15 a sheet. Went clear up to almost $50 a sheet, went down to $30, and then just in the last week it's back up to $40 again. And siding material is no different. Not only you have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks to get it, or months and months to get it, but it's just 4 or 5 times the cost that it was when we started building the house. So I really wish I would have bought it back then. Hopefully that builder's auction will have an auction here coming up in the next month or two. Maybe I can pick up some sheeting at that point. I know they had a lot of the James Hardy siding. I don't really want to use that. I'd rather use the smart siding, but mainly because it'll probably be just me doing it, and it'd be a lot easier to use that instead. But I really want to get the board and batten, the straight up and down look, and then I got all that cedar siding from last year's auction to do some of the gable ends and stuff like that with. So I really don't know what we're going to do yet. I've still got to get things like the soffit that goes right around there, wraps around the end of this house. I got to get that done. We're hoping going to put the addition on, so all that stuff would get in the way if I did siding right away. That's a big reason why we haven't done it. Not only the cost, plus it was winter, and siding in the winter is not really a good idea. Reason being is you put it on and it's tight, and then it gets hot and then it expands, and you end up with really bubbled siding. So you got to be careful on how you do it. The best time to put it on is like around 70 degrees, where it's not expanded because it's too hot and it's not contracted because it's too cold, and then leave your gaps in there so it can expand and contract. Doing it in extreme heat or extreme cold, you're just asking for trouble, in my opinion. So hopefully we'll get some siding on here this summer, and just still looking at options, and prices is a bigger thing. But I've got to get the other section of the house, the addition attached, and get the soffits, things like that done. So I'm not putting the siding on and having to take it off where these things go at. I hope that'll all make sense later. But I'm going to go ahead and see if I can knock this out and get done for the day. I'm almost to the last piece here. And should I get a reason why I don't want to do this in the summertime is because of all the wasps. I did the other side of the house last fall, and I had to wear my bee suit a couple times because all the wasps flying around. This is what I'm up against. That's a monster. Now I know other wasps get a lot bigger than this, but there'd probably be a good, I don't know, 50 wasps on this during the summertime while I'll be up here trying to do this, and that is no fun at all. So I've taken down, there are probably 3 of these in that stretch. Actually, I didn't see anything in here until I got to the end, and that was a huge one. But I'm sure I'm going to find a lot more throughout the rest of the side here. So I've got to do this side and down the whole other end of the house. And then finally, sorry if I was shaking there, I was leaning back and my body was just vibrating. But anyway, so I'll hopefully get all the soffits done here pretty soon. Again, tomorrow will be warm, but I've got to go into town and get some work done. I don't know how long that's going to take, so that could kill most of the day for me. But really, this is the more complicated, just going up, and then along the side here, getting these corners and cutting is just difficult. But when I get to the far side, it'll be a straight shot all the way down, and should go pretty quick. So see if I can get anything done tomorrow, and if not, it'll probably be several weeks before I have a chance to get back up here and work on this some more, since we're heading back into a cold snap. That's how it goes in Kansas. So before I get ahead of myself and do something and then film it later, I'll kind of show you what I'm doing here. This is the back side of the MiniSplit that goes over the master bedroom, and we're trying to get heat from the living room back to there. So on the other side of this panel are the fans, and then below here is where the filter goes. So I'm doing is, the biggest one I have is a 5-inch one. So I'm going to cut a 5-inch hole in here, and then I've got some duct work. I got a takeoff around here somewhere. Sorry, this garage is a mess. Anyway, there's going to be a takeoff that's going to fit on here, and then I'm going to connect flex duct from the back of the MiniSplit all the way over to the fireplace where I ran up the chimney, so all the heat comes up that chimney. So the idea is that I can pull heat directly from the chimney straight into the back of the MiniSplit, turn the fan in on the MiniSplit, which only takes 100 to 200 watts, depending on what speed it's on, to get some of that heat to the back bedroom. So we're going to kind of rig it up and see how it works, and then I'll do something more permanent if it turns out that actually works the way I think it will. Okay, here's the piece I just did downstairs. Just cut the hole through the back there. I know it's not quite the same size, but we're just kind of testing this out. The airflow through here is, it's amazing how minimal it is. I have had trouble with the fan speed, and actually it's set on high, and actually keeping it on high, it seems to want to do its own thing sometimes. So I lined up this top hole, should screw in right into that one. Everything lined up right. Looks good. Start putting our screws back in. Okay, so this will just go on there like that. Shoot off down the line to the chimney, which I'll show you here in a minute. And then the vent usually, a little problem there, because this is bent down, it's kind of blocking it, so I have to do something there in the future. Oh, I barely make it maybe, so I have to trim that off. But all I'm going to do for right now is actually slip a piece of cardboard in there to make sure that all the air is getting sucked through this part. And then I can get a little mesh to put in there and act as the filter. Okay, so again, I'm not really going to seal any of this up yet beyond just the inner liner here to see if I can even get enough air to come back into here to make it worthwhile. So I'll just leave it loose for now. We're supposed to go down to -9 here in a couple nights, or not -9, sorry, down to 9. And then we'll see if it improves the temperature in our bedroom at all. Okay, so this is all done was just taking that flex duct and basically shoved it down my chimney hole. And there's a pretty good amount of heat coming off that. I've got these sensors up here. I don't know if I've talked about the sensors yet, but they give me the temperature and humidity up here, and it gets to be almost 80 degrees on this side of the oh, sorry, I'm under the minis. Alright, it's a tight spot to get into. Anyways, so I've got these Govee sensors right here, and I got 3 of them, one in the center and the one on the west side, one on the east side, and then they wirelessly make it over to this guy who sends it off to the internet, and then I get to check it on my phone. So I can see what the temperature and the humidity is throughout the attic space. And I know that on that side, when the fireplace is on, it gets to almost 80 degrees. The sensor right here, it's usually mid-70s. The other sensor is way over in on that far wall there, and it stays down in the probably 69 or so. So I'm hoping here is by turning this fan on and directing all the return air from the MiniSplit directly into this ductwork here, that it will pull that heat directly from the chimney all the way down and then distribute out into our bedroom. That's a big maybe. It's a long distance, but I should be able to come up here in a while and feel this and see if it's getting warm or not, and then hopefully we'll have a good result. I can also check the temperature sensor down there on the west end, and if it's not getting as hot as it usually is, then we know that a lot of that air is getting sucked down to this side of the house, which is what we want. Well, it's next morning, and I did get down to, I think, 29 last night. There was a little chill in the room when we went to bed. It actually got hot last night, but looking at the unit here, this is not hot at all, but I know there's some air getting pushed out. It feels a little warm when I get past the insulation. But that is now showing 73. I noticed last night it was showing 70. So I don't know if that is the air temperature going through the unit or if that is the temperature coming from the thermostat. The thermostats that come with these MrCool units are pretty crappy. They don't show you what the actual temperature is in the room. So because this is on fan only, it's showing me some temperature. I don't know, again, if it's coming from the thermostat or if it's actually up here at the unit. But usually if you have the thermostat set like at 71 or 72 or 75, whatever, this will just show what you want the temperature to be. It won't show you what the actual temperature is. So I don't really know where that temperature is coming from. But it kind of worked. I mean, it was definitely putting some sort of heat back into that back room. It's not pumping out a lot, but again, this is running 24/7, so maybe that's what we need to do. I got the fireplace going way back there is where it comes out from the chimney, you know, going all night long. And must have done something. It's just not a direct, like, super amount of heat coming through there. Thinking of ways I can maybe boost this, maybe to put an inline fan, something along those lines, to push more heat in there. You know, right now it's just a small fan sucking from the unit all the way back. Actually, not that pipe, it's down here right now. Right there, all the way back to the chimney. Maybe streamlining that a little more or making it a rigid pipe would help, something along those lines. So I'll play with a little more, but it did actually seem to work. Like I said, it'll be 9 degrees at night in a couple days. So that'll be even a bigger test of how it's going. Power-wise, woke up this morning. It only showed that we were pulling in, I think, about 450 watts when I woke up and looked at it. And typically we're probably between 400 and 800 during the nighttime, depending if a fridge or something kicks on, things like that. So I went to bed, we were at 83% charge, and woke up and we were about at 73% charge. So we lost 10% between about 11 o'clock last night and 7 o'clock this morning. which is pretty typical. Usually when the sun goes down to the time we wake up, we lose about 20%. But last night with the pellet stove going, and I think we had a dishwasher going and some other things, went down a little faster than that. So we lost more like 27%. That's still pretty average for us. Now, we did have to run the generator yesterday. It was cloudy yesterday, it's cloudy today. And I found out that if I run the generator during the daytime, whatever power is coming in from the solar panels will go straight to the batteries, and then the generator, any additional power that the house is using, that power goes to the batteries too. So instead of charging it and it was only getting, you know, maybe 1 to 2 kilowatts charging, it was getting I think 3.5 to 4, because we did get a little bit of sunlight yesterday, which helped charge the batteries a little faster, which means I didn't have to run the generator as long. So I got us up to about 90 some percent, and then the sun did come out for a couple hours before the sun went down. I think I ran a generator for about 2 hours. So anyways, this kind of works. We'll keep trying it and tweaking it, and hopefully we'll be able to get that heat about the, what it is, 40-50 feet from the fireplace back to our bedroom would be great. It's a little chilly in there sometimes.